What's going on, everybody? It's your boys, Power Rangers Academia, back in once again with another banger episode, as always. And we're coming in super high off of this last episode that we recorded. Obviously, yeah, the last one, you know, we got all of the emotions out and we kind of like talked it through and figured it out with, you know, how to basically continue on with life, as, you know, obviously we all have to do so. And the best way is, as Isaac put it, is to literally just make sure that it is up to us to continue this legacy that Jason David Frank left behind, you know, with all of his great work in Power Rangers. And obviously, like, who better than the four of us to ensure that that legacy stays hot, live, and always in your face? Because y'all probably gonna think that the man is still alive after you're done watching our freaking episodes. So today we're gonna be talking about the best moments of Tommy. Now this is gonna be interesting because Isaac already nerfed this conversation because he nerfed the conversation by, we have to talk about one thing first and foremost before we all go into our like top 3 moments. And I can tell you guys right now that I'm pretty sure we're gonna definitely have overlap, but it's okay because I still want us to all like talk through why you picked what you picked. So, I want Tech to go first because I just want Tech to go first. We gotta change it up. Okay. Yeah.
See, that's why. Damn. Okay.
I'm coming at his neck if I hear anything I don't agree with.
Wait, I think Isaac should explain why there's no green with evil, right?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, you do that first.
Just let the PSA.
Yeah, listen, we're the best guys, right? We're imitated by a bunch of other content creators out there, right?
I didn't know that.
That's all it is. Neither did I. I'm just saying that because we are the best. So why wouldn't you want to be like the best? That's
gotcha.
just what that's why I said that, right?
Fair.
So I'm pretty sure if you look up Jason David Frank or Tommy Best moments, all the videos are gonna have something in common. They're gonna have Green with Evil on there. We know Green with Evil is great. We know it's probably, you know, the best introduction to any character in Power Rangers, right? We know that. Especially when you know the story behind it, you know how the way it was scripted, you know the fighting in it. We get it. We've heard it plenty of times. We know that if we could include that one, that would be our number one. All of us will share that as number one.
Which is why we're starting with that one, just to get it over with.
Okay, so we gotta get that out the way,
right?
Because Tommy has so many more like great moments that get overshadowed because Green Evil was so great. We know it broke Twitch. We know that they keep playing reruns, you know, just clips on your Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok Reels. We've seen it too many times. Well, we've seen it a lot of times, and you can never see it too many times.
Absolutely
so I feel like, you know, I feel like we should be different than everybody else. And for those people that don't remember a certain moment or people that really don't talk about the other moments so much, it is our job as Tommy fans, as Power Rangers fans, to remind the people,
right?
And it's not to educate the people,
right,
on why these moments are so good and why Tommy is the best Ranger. We're not gonna let one moment define his legacy. There is so much more, and we're gonna be discussing that today.
Amen.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was fucking beautiful, yo. You getting the big sound effect of that shit right there. That was fire.
All right. So I feel bad going first because I feel like I'm about to pick some. I'm definitely gonna pick some ones that everybody's gonna pick.
I mean, it's okay.
I gotta start it off with yo, what was it? The green candle episode.
Okay, fine.
When Tommy was fighting Goldar.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because one of my other favorite moments, always, you know, we talked about it before in another episode, when it was Jason versus Goldar in the Green with Evil. I feel like this is like that scene, but like almost even more OD.
This is the outdoor fight, right? Like,
yeah, the outdoor. Yeah, not the one where he snatched him up. Yeah, the outdoor fight.
Outdoor fight.
Yeah. Because Goldar was talking mad shit, bro. He was talking mad shit. And then he showed him the screen, like he's like, all these times you saved your friends. He was like, oh, then he was like, what are you now? You just know. And then Tommy, he got on his knees, bro. That shit was crazy. He looked like he was about to cry. He was like, He was like, tell me, and go down, still talking, he was like, tell me, what did he say? He was like, tell me, I'm your superior. And he's like, you're right, Goldar. He's like, you're my He's like, you're out of your mind. Again with the camera. That scene is so OD.
And didn't his song start when that happened?
Yeah, yes, I was gonna say that too. Go green. That scene
Fire.
is OD. Like, if I could explain Power Rangers to anybody and show why it's so OD, that'd probably be the scene I showed them, bro.
Dude, like 99% of why people would ever get into Power Rangers, you have to show something with Tommy in it, pretty much. Like, I can't imagine not.
Yeah.
Impossible not to. Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Bro,
I think
that scene.
like something I realized as you were explaining it, that moment is anime as fuck.
Absolutely.
Even the surrounding, like the atmosphere.
Yeah,
that's
like
anime.
They're like in an open field.
But,
Like there was nothing else
it's
around.
crazy.
That's like the Ryu versus Akuma stage, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Without the
Endless.
rain.
and I think that's why we're all the way we are today. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's just we knew that shit was fire, and it crosses over into that lane. But
Free.
man.
Yeah.
That shit was so godlike.
All right,
No,
so
but
what?
the quotes in that scene are godlike.
Yeah. 100%.
Goldar was talking so much shit. I never heard Goldar talk that much, bro. He was
He
talking
really
so
did.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
my
gotta.
He's like, you must have saved your friends 100 times.
Yo, see, Goldar's one of my favorite characters just because, whenever he did get to speak,
That's
it was
what I'm
always
saying,
great.
bro.
It was always great.
It was always okay.
Mhm.
All right, so what's your number two? What's your number two?
that's
We'll
my-
just
that's my
go down to
favorite.
3
Yeah.
each. Yeah.
We gotta go low. Yeah. So it's another one that people might have picked. In Dino Thunder, you know, when he got the first Morphin. And,
Yes.
I forgot the character, the antagonist's name. She was like, "Aren't you a little old for this,
That's
Tommy?"
literally what she said. Word for word. Aren't you a little old for this, Tommy?
What did he say? He
Like, I
said,
may be old, but I can still pull it
but
off.
I still got it.
There it is.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, that gives me chills, bro. I love that scene so much.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Absolutely.
and then
Dino Thunder
ooh.
Tommy, underrated. Yo. Like I feel like over the years, a lot of us have grown to appreciate Dino Thunder Tommy.
I appreciate Dr. Oliver.
Dr. fucking Oliver.
That's the
Yeah.
doctor.
Boy.
as the apex of the Tommy Oliver character arc. But at the time, I don't know if we really appreciated it the same way. Like, it was fire, obviously, but I feel like the significance only grows with time.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Dr. Tommy Oliver, DMD.
Hey, okay, all right, I like that. Hey, dub.
Man,
All right, so what's your third, Tech?
this is tough. I was gonna do a joke one, but there's so many that I can't even do it. I'll get it out the way. It's not. Nobody's gonna pick this. I don't think so. Maybe not.
I feel
when
like
he when he did the roundhouse kick on the T-Rex.
Honorable mention.
I was gonna say Isaac might have said that. I don't know.
You go exactly. I'll tell you why I'm doing that right after you. I'll tell you why I put that as an honorable mention in that top 3.
Yeah, I didn't want to put that in my top 3, but that scene, I guess I didn't remember it back when I was a kid, but ever since the Twitch marathon, I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Dude, that was like
He really
episode
did-
1 of Dino Thunder.
Yeah, it was like one of the first episodes. Yeah.
Dog, listen. The reason I put in my honorable mention
Damn.
was because when you talk to people or have debates about why Tommy is the best ranger, you're always gonna have that person to say Tommy's not the best. What other ranger has done that on Morph? Roundhouse a whole dinosaur. When we talking about feats, because that's something you gotta bring up in these death battles or whatever, right?
Facts.
You gotta bring up feats. Man's roundhouse kicked a Tyrannosaurus Rex
To the face.
Facts, bro.
No hesitation. In his work clothes. Like, get the
in
fuck
his
out of
work
here.
clothes, yo, glasses and all, son.
Nobody's
Like,
touching him.
If that's what he's able to do as a normal human being, like, imagine how much stronger he is when he's actually morphed.
It's broken.
The head would have been flying off that dinosaur if he was morphed. Like, come on, son.
That's so
That's
fast.
why I put it there, because that just shows how OD he is.
Yeah.
Just as a regular person, he has trained so many years, and that's where he's gotten.
Yeah.
That is Ryu right there. Man started, just
The World
wandering,
Warrior.
learning, training. Now look at him.
Facts.
All right. Well, so that's Tech. Those are your 3 right there.
Yeah, I'll give it that. If nobody says one of my other ones, I might bring it up later, but
All right.
I'll give it for those 3.
All right. So good shit. Those were some great picks. Like, honestly, that tornado kick, that should not be an honorable mention. That is one of his
I had to give it to him.
highlights.
Because
to
of the
give
other
it.
ones I picked, I had to put that.
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
But it was
Somebody had
first.
to
It was
say
my
it.
top 3.
So Isaac, you go.
Somebody-
Okay,
We'll
so
go
honorable
around.
mention the roundhouse kick, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna give the obvious one away as my number one. The ending of Dimensions in Danger. This dude saved the world. Plain and simple, right? They had all these Rangers. They had armies of Rangers, right? On top, they had the evil Rangers, you know, the copies, and they had old returning Rangers. This guy, unlike what happened in Forever Red, he took matters in his own hands. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna be the one to save the world, the dimension, whatever you want to call it. He got on the Falcon Zord. A Zord that people forget about.
I'll never forget that shit. Are you kidding me?
Flew up to the sky. It was like, this arrow means nothing. And saved the planet.
He came up with that shit on the fly too.
Whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. He said, I got an idea. Falcon Zord. Oh, that whole
crazy. Episode to me was like defined. It was literally everything you could ask for as a Tommy fan. Yeah. We had shades of when he fought his former, himself in Mighty Morphin when he fought the Green Ranger, the evil Green Ranger, as the good White Ranger.
Lord Draven.
We had shades of that where he's fighting the android version of him.
Yep, Lord Draven.
You know, he had the Master Morpher. You got to see all of Tommy. Unlike Super Mega Force, we got to see all his forms.
Besides Turbo.
Him come out. Besides Turbo, but TJ was there, even though he wasn't a Turbo Ranger. I think, it's like, yo, are you Turbo or am I Turbo today? You know, maybe.
Yo, Max, that's so true.
Right, maybe that's what happened. That's why they put it there. And that's probably why it happened. But we saw him as the Black Dino Thunder Ranger at first. Man came invisible. It's like, okay, this dude has superpowers. Like, this dude's OD. Not only that, but he was super fast.
Yeah.
Super fast. And got to see his other forms. The Zeo form, we really don't get to. Nobody really talks about that form all too often. Yes, that's the form he had during Forever Red, but he was it was a reminder of why that form is so good. He used that as one of his stronger forms, and the White Ranger, and then he ended with the Green Ranger. Even though we're talking about the canon, in reality, that's probably not his strongest, right? Yeah. It was still nice to see, but still, the ending of the main danger is like, yo, this is Tommy, this is our hero.
Absolutely.
This is why he is Mr. Power Rangers.
Yep.
So that's the obvious why I gotta get out the way.
Yep.
The one that was my third favorite, the one I picked, was when he got Jason to come back in Zeo. Because that showed.
That's a great moment.
Yes,
Let's
because
go.
He is the Red Ranger. He is the leader of the squad. And when we did our Red Ranger tier list, we did put Tommy in A tier because, along with, 2 positives, there comes, 3-4 negatives, right?
Yeah.
So, regardless, what he did as a leader, he's like, okay, they need help. I know a friend that's perfect to take on this role. So he found Jason. Mind you, this is a time with no cell phones. And I'm pretty sure Jason didn't have a communicator. That got taken away. So he was able to get Jason to come back, dripped out as the Gold Ranger, and make him the Gold Ranger.
Hooked him up.
Real shit.
Right, because he wanted the best for his team. So regardless, let's not forget, too, Tommy took Jason's place as the leader already. So I'm pretty sure he had to do a lot of convincing to Jason, be like, yo, look, I know this is my squad now, but I know what we need you right now. Like, just come. We'll work together. I want to be there. We'll work together.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They both relied on each other. And that said a lot. That just goes to show, even then when he took a leadership role, he played that role correctly, the best of his ability.
Yeah.
And he was still young when that happened, so he wasn't as experienced as when he was in Turbo or when he was in Dino Thunder. But still, that was a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then one that I'm gonna say. I'll be surprised if anybody put this up there.
So your order really quick was your first, your third, and now your second.
Because this right here is like the most random one out of all of them.
All right.
So I'm gonna keep the most random for last. What's the best opening scene in movie history?
I was gonna say that.
Yo, when we butt heads, but when we're on, bro, we're fucking on, son. Oh my god.
On my list, bro. That was on my list.
Yo, listen.
This is why we're friends at the end of the day. Like, oh my god. Yo, go ahead, tell him. Just fucking tell him.
You already know. This guy, when he jumped out that plane, Nah, first of all, this dude
changed
jumped
my
out on a
life.
snowboard. On a
Yes.
snowboard.
On the snowboard. He
Yo,
was the
that
only
was
one.
OD. That
So
was
when
OD.
everybody was down there waiting for him to come down, you knew he was the coolest dude to come out that fucking plane.
Facts. I've never seen anything like that shit in the movies,
You
bro.
knew.
neither.
Everybody else,
Shit.
you know, over here doing some star formation and shit. You had Red Hot Chili Peppers playing in the background.
Facts.
This dude's out here cruising in the air. Man, that's the
that shit-
coolest motherfucker jumping out that plane.
On a snowboard.
To this day, bro.
I
That shit
just
lives in
know,
my head
son.
rent free, bro.
It really does.
That movie started out with a bang. This dude out there, yo, he was like,
That was
just
set the tone
in the
right
sky.
there.
Like, this dude has no fear, son.
He has all
None.
the sauce. Like you, that's why, dude. People reasons like that is why I don't understand why anybody can ever shit talk on him for any reason whatsoever. There's so much evidence to dig and to just revisit that's just like he's literally immortal. He is untouchable. Like Mans is dead in real life, but he's not dead. He's literally like he lives rent free in everyone's thoughts, and especially for those that they want to try to hate. But then, you know, you have dudes like us that be like, nah. Let me remind you of why he is the greatest of all fucking time. And then that shit
Remember his
happens.
nickname, Fearless Frank.
Fearless Frank. Yeah,
The
that's a good
dude
one.
jumped off a damn plane, son. He did that in a movie. He does that in real life. Like,
Yeah.
come on, son.
He is.
This dude was Tommy Oliver both on and off screen.
I gotta listen to that song now.
Yeah, yo,
I hear it in my head.
Name
Yeah,
an
me
opening.
too.
Name an opening that's better than that. Nothing.
Yeah,
Dude.
believe it or not, and the greatest part about that scene is that it was so random. But that's like that
It's
is
the
doubt
90s like encapsulated, yo.
Yes.
The 90s
Yes.
is just like about
undefeated
extreme sports and music and stuff.
and karate.
And then they went right. They went right from that to skating around, this,
Right?
you know, New Zealand version of Angel Grove.
As a kid, I was like, I want to do everything that I'm
Me
seeing.
too. Facts.
Like 100%. Yo, remember Brink?
dead ass.
Yo.
Yes. Look, Brink is
Zach
the
was
goat.
in there.
Brink is the goat. Zach was in it.
Yo, Zach was in
Messed up
Brink. Yo, I remember
hairline.
that shit. Yo.
But again, that inline skating stuff and the snowboard. Well, yeah, snowboard in the
No,
air.
nobody's ever done that.
All of that stuff.
I don't know why he would do that, but he did it. That's the coolest
Exactly.
motherfucker jumping out the plane. It's like, yo, this dude is not. There's something different about this guy. This dude is special. Like, there's a reason he's on the snowboard and not everybody else.
So wait, I have a question now. So I don't know. I know we had this conversation a while ago, but I'm bringing it up again because I want to know if you guys remember this. But like, do you remember when I had a conversation with y'all about like what the best scenario on like if they were to make like an Insomniac level Power Rangers game? And I was like, dude, the best way to start it would be that.
Oh yeah.
That shit,
Yeah.
yo, imagine getting to control in you know, this little mini game in the air
Yo.
before you land
It'd
and
be
get
like,
all the.
it'd be like this beginning of like, what was it, Saints Row 4? Saints Row 3? There was definitely a skydiving scene at the beginning of one of the Saints Rows, and like that's where my brain went when you said that. But it's
Dog,
possible.
if they add
reminds
Tommy
me
in
of,
Fortnite, he better be jumping out the damn bus like that, yo.
I never
Snowboarding
thought
on
I would want to
facts.
see that actually happen,
crazy.
and I hate that fucking game. Oh my
Yeah,
god, why did you say that? Oh
yeah, it's
my
like you saying
god.
that, I'm like, oh man.
Oh my god. All right. JD, please take it away. That was, Isaac, those were great 3 picks, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That was
To
that was
say-
godlike.
To say 3 Tommy picks out of the whole franchise.
I thought we were doing
is
5
hard,
actually.
right?
No.
Because there's so much to pick from,
Yeah.
right? But you know, I'm gonna start with apart from Zio because like it was probably the first one I was thinking about just to try to be different, but also something that was really significant for his character development, which I thought was really cool. And it was in Zio when Jason was losing his Gold Ranger powers and Tommy started to have second thoughts about how to save his friend because it was basically like a reverse situation of what happened in Mighty Morphin when Jason was worried about Tommy losing his powers, and seeing Tommy like go through that and try to basically like persevere through that whole situation, I thought was really interesting. And it was like another evolution to that, you know, Jason Tommy dynamic, but also just to his character in Zio. And I feel like around that time they were giving Tommy a lot of attention in Zio just because like the whole stuff with his brother and all that. But
True.
like they were trying to flesh out the Tommy Oliver character. And for whatever reason, like I always felt like that was like a standout moment for the character in Zio. It's not necessarily the most exciting moment, but it was like
full circle,
interesting like character full circle moment, right?
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Definitely one that I know no one's on YouTube is saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like like just the little slivers here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like going back to the movie. Yeah, I gotta say it, man, because it's like so simple, but it was so effective. Just like, let's do it, guys. It's Morphin time. Like just the Morphin time call out in that movie is probably the best.
I'm so hyped. I'm so fucking hyped right now.
When you hear it, that, let's do it. You get,
and they're all in sync. Right, it's Morphin time, and it goes right. Oh my god! Probably one of the most used gifs on Twitter.
Yes,
free.
And then when the song starts, it's like that orchestrated version of the song, the theme song. OD. And even before that, before they started Morphin, this dude, like, Tommy was always being different in that movie. Like, he had to be the one to get the stick. He was messing with it. Yo,
yes,
movie was crazy.
The spiral kick.
I was just gonna say that was on my list.
The Ninjetti corkscrew kick. Yo, I definitely tried to do that. And you know how kids do stupid shit.
You gotta do that shit off a diving board into a pool. That's the safest bet, or like a trampoline or some shit.
It was like from one mattress onto another mattress. That's how I tried. It was terrible. But anyway, so yeah, I had to shout it. Just that line is so powerful. Like if you watch Power Rangers the movie and you see that sequence, you just know, like you feel it. You feel the power, like no pun intended. But it's true. And then like in the last episode I spoke about like some of his Dino Thunder moments like already. So I'm like those are kind of givens.
Of course.
But I'm trying to think like because I could put like some trolly ones in there like but
listen, it's never a troll. It's Tommy Oliver, bro.
Because I think my brain wants to go to the comics right now.
Okay, that's fair.
And
I wasn't sure if we were gonna include those, but I decided not to for my picks. But that's fine.
Because like it's hard because I want to cover like at least mention it. But if I had to go for another moment from the show.
Not Tommy versus Tommy, because I thought you were gonna say that.
I was thinking about it. Like I was thinking about that specific series of episodes. But Tommy versus Tommy was fire. But I think I'm gonna give my last part to him fighting for his life in Dino Thunder. I know I know I mentioned it, but I have to go through because that moment was really deep.
It
was such a great episode, and then like I rewatched that episode, like I think around the time when he did pass, and I was just because like I was watching like highlights, but that episode in particular is just like the meaning of it, but also at the time like you're seeing like suits that you haven't seen in a while, but you're seeing it conveyed in a way that is a lot more mature for the series than it has been in a while. It's like it really kind of emphasizes the legacy of those powers and what it means to the character. And you could say that like he has different eras of his lives through his powers.
Yeah. And
like going back to the comics, like they play on that even more when you get to the Soul of the Dragon stuff. But that episode is just like really significant. It was really dope just to see him like kind of confront those, but also come out on top as Dino Thunder Black, and he kind of had that like renewed resolve, meaning he came back from his MMA stuff.
I also love that too, because like it's fan service, but it's not like the cheesy.
It wasn't,
it was like tasteful, and it was actually meaningful, and like like we're talking about, it like even reflects to like real life struggles and stuff. So I always, that's like definitely I think probably one of the best episodes, like in the whole like series, honestly.
Yeah.
Facts. And it's crazy because like you when you mention like it not feeling cheap, like a lot of the times recently, when they do the cameo episodes, like they can feel very cheap or just kind of like ham-fisted and like forced.
This is an army.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like almost, yeah, but let's get away from that. But
Yeah, please.
The way that they did it in Dino Thunder was effortless. It made sense with the story, and it was cool to see just as a legacy fan, you know, with all without being an anniversary season too, you know.
Yeah, that well said. I love all those picks, man. This is probably one of the greatest episodes we're ever gonna record. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, we gotta come up with more excuses to talk about this dude in future episodes. All right, so now it all comes down to me, right? So So I feel like for the ones that I picked, I'm not gonna like swap around and be like, oh yeah, like, cause like I do have like some honorable mentions, but I use air quotes because like I said before, like everything, there is no joke or whatever. Like anything that involves this man is a legitimate moment for, you know, whatever the reason is, right? So I'm gonna read mine from my first to my third, because my third one is actually one that no one here has said yet, which is pretty dope. And then like I guess I'll just briefly go over
I'm gonna
it.
take a guess and I'll let you know if I'm right or not. If I'm right, I'll mention it. I'll bring it up.
All right, so my number one, there's no fucking shot that everybody will know Dimensions in Danger will forever be like my favorite moment of all time for Tommy, because for the obvious reasons, you know, this was like what, the 25th anniversary special. This aired on literally the same day that Power Rangers even debuted in the first place. The fact that I felt like this episode was meant to be treated as a, let's hopefully they forget about the legendary war and bullshit, because that was atrocious. It's literally, people like fans will always say like this is the episode that we must not speak of, right? Because I'll never forget when, and of course this is during a time when like I was not watching Power Rangers like every week, you know, because you know of Samurai and Megaforce and all that stuff, right? But like I was still giving it a chance, and like whenever I did catch it, I would watch it. But then I made sure that, okay, like this is Megaforce, aka Gokaiger, they better not fuck this up. And sure enough, they fucked it up. And so I still woke up mad early for this episode. I'm like, why are they airing this so early on? Like, are kids really waking up this early? I don't know, right? So I woke up and I was watching this, and I was expecting this shit to just be like a fucking amazing episode, and it wasn't. And even though Tommy was at the helm, like he was leading the entire like legacy team, and it was so lackluster, and it was a shame. So it's like I felt like they wrote they wrote Dimensions in Danger essentially for him, because even though it was like, you know, another celebration episode of like an anniversary of Power Rangers, and they had like, you know, TJ was in there, Catherine was in there, had a bunch of other Rangers like Wes, like, you know, all, you know, icons to some degree, more or less, obviously, but obviously they had to have Tommy in there. And then he got clearly all the shine, and it was like a perfect callback and a almost like in a way like low-key a send-off. You know, because obviously, like, he's no longer with us now. But it's like when you look at it like that, it's like that's the best way to go out.
You're 100% right.
Yo, like, and here's the funny part. I always conceptualized a master morpher, right? I always was like, man, characters like him and Adam and anybody that was within that, like, you know, Zordon era that at least had 2 Ranger forms. I'm like, yo, they need to make something so that these characters have those powers, because, you know, obviously, like, we knew from the Sentai coming into Power Rangers, like, yo, I'm like, Gokaiger, they all had their powers. Like, they had like all the previous powers before them, and each season was all a different team. That's not really the case in Power Rangers, obviously, because those first 5 seasons, I mean, arguably you could include Lost Galaxy, right? Because that was like the final stretch where we stopped seeing the overlapping, right?
That's the longest Zordon.
Exactly, right? So in my always mentally, I was just like, yo, they need to make a special morpher for these characters
For the
specifically.
legacy characters, yeah.
And then he comes out, but unless you got a master morpher, you're nothing but a cheap copy. Come the fuck on, man. That shit was fire. And like, yo, and look, he debuts as evil. How many times has he fought himself as an evil version? Draven, Draken, White Ranger versus Green Ranger. Like, and then in Dino Thunder, he does it again one last time against Lord Draven, the knockoff Walmart version of Lord Draken, low key, right? Especially because of the name, right? And he goes through obviously 4 out of the 5 powers that he had. And it was, I couldn't have asked for a better episode, because honestly, I was just like, this was like, when I tuned into that episode, I was screaming. I was yelling whenever they went to commercial break. I was like, what are they fucking doing? They gotta go back right now. Like, I felt like a kid again, truly, at that time. And that will always stay rent-free in my head. And like, from start to finish, my man, you got to see his house. Like, we never got to see.
Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ, right?
Shout out to JJ. I think it was a one-parter. It was so much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In that episode, it didn't feel like it was just one episode. Like, it really, so much happened there that you would think it was a 2-parter.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
If only it was a 2-parter, because imagine like, even because I know a lot of people criticize like certain characters didn't get enough shine, and I like retroactively, I think it probably works better as a Tommy tribute. But considering who was there, imagine just like those conversations with TJ that we could have had, or with
True,
Kat, who's his wife and Canada.
You took my spot, and this what happens? You get captured,
or Rocky. but for real, it's like, it would have, like, retroactively, like, it would have been cool just to have a few more of those moments. Just
absolutely, yeah, I agree.
To like, acknowledge those characters, but also it pays towards Tommy more.
Right.
So, but but at the end of the day, like, I do feel like what you said, like, what they were able to do, especially compared to Legendary War, was it was definitely an achievement. Like, if anything, the only thing that really brings it down is the fact that it was Ninja Steel. So
I was just gonna say that, man.
That's you are bugging. Because it has some of the greatest Rangers in there.
You mean
Cristiani?
Bugging. I wish Ninja Steel had nothing to do with it.
Right?
They
didn't need him there.
Anybody better season. Thing. Like, that's why I'm so excited about the new one, because it has nothing to do. Even though I like Dino Fury, it has nothing to do with Dino Fury. It's just straight.
That's it's a separate project. Yeah.
Right. I wish Dino was like that.
Special.
Yeah. All right.
That boosted Ninja Steel, if you ask me. It was already a good season. It made it even better with that episode. Y'all bugging, but that's a conversation for another episode.
Facts. Yeah, that's a good way to segue, right? All right. So my second one now. Okay, so this is one of the ones. Obviously, this is another one that we all collectively have mentioned. So this one shouldn't really take me that long. But when he first turned into Dino Thunder Black, like that shit right there. That's free. Like, are you a little old for this, Tommy? What happened?
I'm not gonna say it was free. Okay, now this is one thing where I'm gonna have to disagree with you and who was it? Was it Tech or JD that brought it up?
I had that on mine.
Okay, yeah, it was you. Okay, yes. So the reason why I wouldn't put that as my top 3 moments, yes, it was good. Okay, we got him back as a Ranger, but he was not the leader. So to me, that took away from it, because it's like Tommy should always be the leader no matter what.
He's the
it didn't bother me at all.
He is the mentor, but he's still number 5? Like, it just didn't. Oh, number 4, number 4, because Trent, Trent wasn't there. But still, it's like that. He's not the leader. It just didn't feel right to me.
But his arc, he was passing the leader off to Connor.
He was
telling,
and he already
but Connor is younger.
TJ,
You're telling me
previously.
a student is telling you what to do?
He crafted it. He never was told what to do.
Connor never really told him.
I never
Connor,
saw it that way.
Connor as a leader, I'm pretty sure if he gave out orders, he'll listen.
Connor was an idiot. He wasn't giving out no orders.
Anybody
but his team. But by design, he's supposed to be. But there was no way Tommy was taking orders.
My thing though too is that obviously they've had the mentor characters throughout Power Rangers, but I thought it was so cool that after Dino Thunder there was Doggy and SPD, And
Yep.
then there was
Shout
Udana
outs.
and Mystic Force, who
Yep.
also became Rangers.
Right.
And then I don't know if there's RJ and Jungle Fury, who was
Yep.
a mentor that
Shout
became a
outs.
Ranger. And
Yeah.
I always thought it was so cool that the first mentor that became a Power Ranger was Tommy.
Yo,
And
that's what
I
I'm
always thought that
saying.
was so cool.
That's what I'm saying. See, and I'm glad you guys bring all this up because the way I never, like, that was why Dino Thunder, low key, like, as a goated season, because it takes the best of all types of aspects where you obviously have a new team, a new set of teens, right, with attitude or whatever, right? And then, like, you have quite arguably one of the best mentors you could possibly have on your squad. But the difference was it was never like Connor was ordering Tommy what to do, because they had their struggles and they would try to deal with it. And then if he was there to help them, he was there to help them. It was never like, oh, Dr. O, I need you to do this. Nah, it was never like that, because guess what? At the same time, Tommy was going through more struggles that were presented in the show. And I never saw it where it was just like, oh, now he's like, you know, second in command. Like, I never saw it that way, because like I was just like, it was a huge moment for fans to look forward to a new season of Power Rangers that featured literally the legend himself as a part of the team. And then of course, like, you know, they implemented all of this like history through that show. We got to see like all the past moments, the great nods that happened in the Zordon era. And then when he has to fight himself because he was fucking fighting for his life, like, shit's OD.
That was OD. Man, you know what? Maybe if he showed up as a 6th Ranger instead of being part of the initial squad, I probably would have felt a little bit better about it.
But
right, because even on screen, you know, he was in the cup, he was center. It was off because listen, Tommy has been through he had more experience than anybody there.
Yeah,
and for him to now be one of the, you know, basically part of the team, he's better than that. He's bigger than that. That's Tommy Oliver.
I was
still consider him a special Ranger.
I was gonna say that his relationship to the team was like as a six. I mean, obviously there wasn't that many Rangers in the team.
There was only 5,
like,
unfortunately.
Maybe
you know,
if
like,
he came in last too, maybe it'll be different. But he wasn't. You see, so to me it wasn't that special.
But what makes it crazy though is because Trent is kind of like
he's
him fighting him, like he was fighting somebody else going through the same thing he had to go through.
Thank you. Yes,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But to
been
me, it would have been better.
was
Let's
White
just
Ranger.
say Trent was really going ham, and you know, you can tell. Okay, maybe instead of Trent being, you know, like evil, he become more of an anti-hero. Then Tommy, I don't know, like, you know, let's just say they needed saving from Trent. Tommy comes and be like, no, I know exactly how to deal with people like this, because he was one himself. Right?
Yeah.
It would have been different.
You're saying
maybe,
if they did it in reverse?
Yeah, if they did it in reverse, it would have been a little bit more special, like the best for last type thing. That's not what I got from that.
Well, to be fair, you know, at the end of the day, they have to use the Sentai footage, bro. Like that'd be going out of order. Like they wouldn't have been able to do that just because.
You're right.
I mean, if they
Exactly.
did, it would have to be a lot of original footage.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
would
I'm
have to
saying.
do.
You're right.
They would have to change up a lot if they were to. I mean, that is OD. I'm not gonna say that is OD, but the way that it wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, like with all
should've
things
worked that way.
considered, like they managed to make a very balanced season, because like as dope as those moments would be, and trust me, I'll never complain about Tommy centric anything, right? But as far as like when you look at the whole like season as a whole, like if they were to do something like that, then I would feel like take away from the actual main team that they're trying to like push and like, you know, put out there and everything like that. But again, like I wouldn't complain if, you know, at all. So all right, so
Yo, can I amend my list?
What do you mean?
Because there was something that popped into my head that should have been obvious, that I was like, how could I possibly leave this off my list, that I feel like I should have had on.
Well, let me finish mine, and then okay. So my last one that I have, like I mentioned, none of us has said anything about it, which I'm happy about. And this is and this moment is actually like it's a lot more epic than I remembered, because when I thought about it and then I watched the clip back, it all came back to me. I was like, oh fuck, that shit was godlike, right? So I think they called the episode An Old Friend or something like that, but it's when he comes back for the first time as Green Ranger.
Remember the cliffhanger the episode before?
Yes.
Carnival, right?
Wait.
Fire.
Yeah, wait. Hold on. I want
Was
you
that the
to
episode?
say it because I think I know what you're talking about.
So
Wait, are you talking about the episode where they all get like captured and then Tommy walks in and you can see his feet?
into the juice bar,
He's like,
and
where'd
it's all
everybody
fucked
go?
up.
Dude, yo, that was OD.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like peak Power Rangers, like when
shit
they
was-
had those like
ooh, that
can't
shit was
like
fire.
when they had the story-driven episodes. Mighty Morphin is OD.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe to this day, like if you cut all the filler and all the bullshit and just made a straight up like Mighty Morphin abridged,
Yeah.
it might be the best season. I'm not gonna
Yo,
lie.
facts. That's what I'm
It might be
saying.
the best season.
Because the stakes were so high, and that was one of those
None of us
moments.
thought about that. That right there was crazy. Like Tommy was gone.
Yep.
People forgot
He
about
was
him.
off the show, literally. Like this
Yo,
was
I
when he was
remember
about to be
I remember
Cybertron.
The cliffhanger, right? Like,
Facts.
you know, like they showed him or whatever, and then go Green Ranger.
Yeah,
go.
yo,
It's
that
like,
was
yo,
OD.
I'm right, Joe.
Look, I can't go back in time, obviously, but I would pay a godly amount of my soul just to go back in time and see what my reaction was when I watched that episode live.
Yeah, dude.
Because I remember I'm pretty sure I had the episode taped, so I would watch it over and over and over because that scene is ingrained in my mind like that.
Yup.
And that's why I'm killing myself for not mentioning it, but I'm so glad you brought it up.
Yeah,
Yo,
man.
I think that's the
was
same
OD.
episode too, right? He's like command center, and then he looked at his runner. He's like, "Yo, give me this chance. I can handle it."
That was the next one.
That was
so
the next
like,
one? Okay.
Yeah, because
yeah.
So,
the way
so it was
the-
part of that same arc then. It was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
okay,
Because
yeah.
the way all that shit
two
was
parts.
cut up, it was like at this point in the story, like the Rangers are getting fucking their asses handed to them again, right? Like they're struggling, and it's like you get, and that's what makes it crazy, right? Because like they were great, right? But they weren't amazing until Tommy was involved, and like you got to see how strong they really were when he was there and not there. So it's like obviously like, you know, the one obvious thing that we clearly didn't talk, I mean, we did mention that at the very beginning of this episode where it's like Green with Evil, where, you know, he comes in, he fucks up everybody and it stresses all of us as kids for 6 episodes straight, you know, like yo, they are getting their asses handed to them, but it's so awesome seeing another Power Ranger doing this and all, you know, whatever reason you might have, like goated by default. That's why we barely even talked about it, right? Because it's obvious. But this moment right here is so important because again, they're struggling, they're going through it, they have no other options, and you can tell like time kind of passed on a little bit because when he does walk back on the screen for the first time since his departure, yo, my man got the ponytail this time. Like it wasn't just like the long hair that was all like, you know, like it was going through the awkward phase. No, my man, he got the lineup, the freaking undercut John, and the freaking ponytail, and that was like the birth of like his actual legacy at that point. Was like from that point onward, they was smooth sailing outside of, you know, when they actually did get fucked up again and again. But you know, like the fact that Tommy was there, it just made things a little bit more like, I don't know, like easier to do.
They had an option.
Dude, I was gonna say like, cause I watched Mighty Morphin again recently. I didn't like finish the whole thing, but like I watched season 1 again recently, like last year. And then like those episodes felt so weird. Like when Tommy was gone and then it was just them again. And then like they were still using the Dragon's Zord. I mean, they're using Dragon's Zord
a couple times. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
because Jason
like a few
had
times.
Dragon Shield.
Yeah,
and had the Dragon's Zord.
He used that shit like once, like right, like the episode after he left, and then after that he like never used it again.
Yeah, like those episodes, like they're good, but like those episodes, it's like something's missing, bro. Like there's, you have that feeling the whole time, like man, something, I don't know, like.
See, I'm glad that they brought him back because imagine a timeline where they really just stuck to their guns and like would try to write it out in whatever plan that they had. Like, yo, imagine that shit. Like, I just can't because like, come on, this shit is fire. So yeah. Yeah,
I
like
also have one that I want to mention too, but I'll let you go first, JD, because I know you had one. One that's mine's is real quick, so.
Yeah. So I'm gonna amend it because you know, I had on my list I had some great stuff, but I'm gonna swap the first one out because nobody else said it. The introduction of the White Ranger.
yeah. That's a
I was
good one.
gonna
That was on
bring
my
it. I was
list,
gonna
too.
bring it up, but
But see, that's an
because-
obvious one though, right?
It's obvious, but it's like, but
So
nobody
deep.
said it, and,
Yeah.
and like, and I would be lying to myself if that wasn't like a pivotal moment for me as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was like, because I mean, they made it as obvious as hell. Like they tried to make you think it was gonna be Richie or Zach's cousin or whatever,
Yeah.
but we all knew, and then once you see it happen, it was just like, it was an amazing moment because Kimberly passed out on the
She
floor.
did. She really
Everybody's
did.
super excited, and then you have this fight scene where you're like, why is Tommy acting all crazy? But he was just hyped to be there. That's what you're assuming. And he calls the Tiger Zord, and he has a new theme song, and he has this cool suit that's completely different from everybody else's suit.
As
You don't-
always.
you're not questioning it. You're just like, this is crazy. Like he has a talking sword. Like all of those elements stacked on top of each other, and then like it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's why, like, I know that I didn't get a chance to be Green Ranger for Halloween, but White Ranger I knew for sure. I was like, yo, I need that costume.
I was
Nice.
Green Ranger last year. I ain't stopping me. Okay,
No, trust me. No, Green
Ranger.
Ranger costume is fire, but it's like it was more like an age thing. Like I was old enough to be able to request it, whatever. But point being, it was just like an amazing moment,
Yeah.
And like I had to slap myself for forgetting that.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's not, trust me, it's not that we forgot. you
And the
know?
way he
Yeah.
descended down.
Yeah,
like,
the way he
God.
descended.
That shit was fucking. That was OD, yo. Absolutely. Like, come on, man. This guy literally. There's literally his legacy cannot be repeated. I know they're trying low key with Zato right now, but nah. It's like you get reminded of Tommy when you see some shit like that. That's it.
So there's something I got reminded of recently, right? Especially like I spoke about this a little bit during the last episode. Us as adults, we experience a lot of great moments, a lot of bad moments, and sometimes it doesn't come in a form of okay, this happened. Sometimes it's someone that enters your life, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore. When Tommy got that letter from Kimberly,
That Dear John letter.
I
I was
knew
gonna bring that up.
Holy
when he got the letter from
The
Kimberly,
Dear John letter was crazy.
and he stayed so composed, and he still had to take care of business with that on his mind. Like, yo, she legit already she sent you a letter saying, hey, I found somebody else. I know, listen, I've been in that situation where I was at work and I know I couldn't continue working. I had to clock out early. I've been there. So for him to get that letter and still, stay
Go on a
focused
snowboarding
and
trip.
save the world, not have that affect him. Like, yo, props to my boy Tommy, son.
He went
better
on a
than me.
snowboarding trip, and then he got hit on by the girl from VR Troopers.
Yes,
And she
I
was
remember.
mad salty when he didn't want her.
Yo, that dude was loyal, son.
It's a
Just for
VR
him to-
troopers.
Yo, that for Kimberly be sending that letter, and this guy, it's not like he downloaded a dating app and was like, all right, let me replace her real quick. Nah, this dude, he had to hold that, and he still took care of business.
He didn't have
had
Cat
a
lined
job.
up.
Nah, well,
They were
Cat, like,
friends.
they wrote her off to introduce the Cat. I think at the end of that arc, because that was when they went on that snow trip,
Yes.
and the girl from VR Troopers was hitting on him. He's denied her, but then at the end of that whole thing, I'm pretty sure that's when the
Cat.
Cat
Yes.
Tommy thing
You're
started.
right.
Okay.
That doesn't start
because
it.
because
Yeah,
she was she was there for him so much to the point where they're like, like,
Right.
there's something
I
here.
think
That's
it was
what I'm
an
saying.
episode with Prom 2 and Cat was. I could be wrong, but I remember
remember
something
that.
along those lines, like Prom or something. They were like at some dance or something, and Cat and Tommy were together. I think if I
Maybe.
remember it correctly. I think it was Zio. I think because I remember he had like a black suit, red shirt on.
Mhm.
Oh.
I think so.
Oh,
And
okay.
at the juice bar, I believe too. That's where it happened. But again, it's like a blur. That's
There was
for some reason, I have the
there was
image in my
there
mind.
was a couple of dances at the juice bar. So
Yeah,
that's why
they had plenty of parties in
But
that
he's
fucking
definitely
shit.
swagged out. But you know what I'm saying? He got his good grades. He has good grades, and I remember he was on a football team at one point too. You know what I'm saying?
That was a
So,
great
you know,
episode. One of my favorite episodes.
He was out. He did it all. He did it all. There ain't nothing that he could do they can't do in the Power Rangers world. Man's did it all. He's accomplished everything there's accomplished.
So, Tech, did you want to throw in any other bonus ones?
Ooh,
since
let me see.
they gave two right
Since
there.
we doing
I have a funny one, and then I have like two serious ones that none of us mentioned. Actually,
I'm surprised you didn't say him transferring his.
I was just
power
gonna
to
say
TJ.
that. I was literally.
there it is. There it
I was
is.
gonna say. I was actually gonna say when he transferred his power to Jason, the dragon armor. But I mean that was on my list too when he gave his power to. I mean, bro.
Oh, the dragon shield.
Yeah, the dragon shield. Yeah, like when you gave it to Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was OD. I mean, I played the dragon armor, Jason and Grid, bro.
Facts.
It's OD. Like,
You have to. The dragon armor just makes every suit cooler. Like dragon armor Zack.
yeah, that's come on, man.
That was pre Gold Ranger.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad that that's brought up now, right? Because like I was thinking of that moment too, and like that, like when you think back on that, like this was also like the first time. I mean, obviously it was Mighty Morphin, so they had their opportunity to do everything first time, right? But like you have to think about like, was that ever repeated after that? Not really. Like you never saw a situation where you had a ranger that came through that had something that the others didn't, and then he gave it to them. And so when he did, like, of course he let Jason have the shield the first, right? But then when he did it to Zack, I was like, oh,
And
like
that was American exclusive footage.
that was
Yeah.
fire.
Well, I mean, it was U2, but
It was U2,
like,
right? Yeah.
They filmed it in Japan, but that was like we got that. They didn't get that out there, so that was just dope, you know.
Yeah.
Made it feel too, because that opened the doors for the comics for Kimberly to get it, and you can imagine.
It's like,
I feel like
fill out the team.
the closest thing to that is probably didn't at some point didn't like Eric give Wes his gun or something like that? I forget. In
In the last episode of Time Force, he gave him his gun, but he didn't use his powers. I don't know.
yeah, honestly, the only other time I can really think of is SPD with Sky to.
Oh
to,
yeah, when he gave him
there's that.
Morphin, yeah, that too.
That was
I
his
was gonna
whole
say-
shit though.
was gonna
Here's
say-
you
that
can be
was
the Red
bad
Ranger.
I was gonna say in What's a Ranger when they gave Adam the power up from Operation
yeah.
Overdrive.
No,
was that
nobody
really a
else had
power
that,
up though?
Yeah, I mean it was. It
I know
was-
you
it
would
was
say that
rap-
Operation Overdrive one of your favorite seasons.
No,
I know he's gonna say
that is false.
That was see.
Shout out to fucking
Listen,
Tyson.
I have proof that says otherwise. But I ain't
That's
gonna,
not proof
I ain't
of
gonna
anything.
expose it just yet.
So
I'm-
the one
Man.
thing that I was gonna say that I thought Tech was gonna bring up was when he, now they passed it to Jason, but when he literally passed the torch to TJ, I thought
I'm
he
not
was
gonna
gonna.
lie. I haven't
Say
watched
that.
Turbo in a minute, bro. I gotta rewatch Turbo.
No, you don't.
See,
I do.
there's
you
certain episodes
I
of
do.
Turbo that are
I gotta rewatch
worth
it, bro.
rewatching.
Man,
Because the finale of Turbo
So
is
deep.
legitimately
Oh, that was fire.
Turbo's
Amazing.
fire.
That
I
was
love
fire.
there's
Turbo.
something though, like we're gonna get into a
Fire.
whole different topic, but like I will
Yeah,
say that Turbo gets so much shit, but like low key,
I'm gonna write it down. That's an episode.
the writers that made Space were on they were on Turbo. The second half of Turbo is like the same stuff as Space,
Yeah.
and then like
it's pretty
the same-
solid.
because that was when they changed the writers was
Right.
Yeah.
at the second half of Turbo. Like people don't really talk about that, but the second half
Nah.
of Turbo is pretty OD.
No, it's not.
Nah.
They are driving fire trucks instead
I
of
don't
race
care.
cars and Power Rangers Turbo.
The rescue Zords are OD.
They're OD. Save it.
It's
Save it.
Power
Save
Rangers
it.
Turbo.
Save it.
Okay,
Save it.
we're gonna
It's
get
in the
back.
second half of
Save it.
Turbo.
As in room, I'm going real fast. Turbo.
Save
care.
it. We gonna talk. Turbo's gonna get
That's
its
a
own
whole
episode.
different- We got yeah. I gotta rewatch.
Y'all have
Turbo
fun with
before
that
we
one.
do
I don't be sleeping.
All right.
What's your extras?
All right. So
Yes.
I have. So all right. So I'll give you guys one that was one that we didn't even talk about, and then the last one is a joke one.
Don't
We'll
say
end it on
Forever Red.
that.
Please don't say Forever Red. I'm glad we know better about Forever Red. You talk about that too many times already.
Forever Red when he led all the Red Rangers. Because that's goaded. Dude, what the fuck?
It is.
Like, how do you not
It is,
obvious?
bro, it is.
It's obvious.
It
Yes,
is.
it's,
Those are my list,
a lot
too.
of these
It
are
is.
obvious. But
It
like,
is.
Vulcan skull working for him.
But that's
Yeah,
along
dude.
the lines of Green with Evil. That's why. You know,
Yeah, I know, but-
we know.
Yo,
so
look,
that
we-
should have been
you
one of
know-
the things we first talked
you know-
about too. Then at
look,
that point,
we talk. So I'm sure we've mentioned many times about how OD Carter Grayson is. That
Right.
dude was answering to Tom.
Yep.
there you. Oh, Mike, thank you for bringing that point up. Yo, think about
That's
it.
crazy.
Out of all the, listen, I'm bringing this up because out of
Leo
all the
wasn't-
characters, out of all the Red Rangers,
Relax.
all the iconic ones, Andros was there. Fucking Jason ends up showing up. Like,
But
Carter
Jason, I would say
Grayson.
Jason might be the only one that wasn't necessarily acting like a subordinate of Tommy.
No,
was
no,
acting
no,
like
no.
a-
Right.
Yeah,
he,
but
he-
like-
he was
yeah.
the cool co-host. But guess who was really running the fucking shit? Tommy
Yeah.
organized the entire
Yes.
fucking
Yeah.
operation. Okay.
Yeah.
And guess what? By the time it was all done, and even when they were getting all collected, TJ even said, he's a legend. Fucking
Yeah.
come on. He had the acknowledgement. He's like,
He
like
really
you
is
know
the
he's about
best
to say
Ranger
something.
ever. What Cole
Exactly.
said.
Exactly.
He really is.
Exactly, man. Come on, like you cannot take. And then he walks off into the sunset. No one, they didn't. None of them did that shit. They left after Tommy did because he's like, all right, the job's done. All right, y'all are dismissed because he was the fucking GOAT. He is. He is not. He is. Okay, 100%. And then the joke one that I have is from the movie actually, which is funny because I didn't think we were gonna talk about the movie at all, but we ended up talking about it a lot. Remember the part where Dulcia is giving them all like a little like thingy for when they got their ninja powers, and then she goes to Adam like, oh, like like a frog, like a kiss, like from like a handsome prince. You look at Tommy, and Tommy looked like he was ready for a kiss too, and he didn't get one.
That's the OG.
I gotta watch that.
I gotta look
That
at.
shit was so fucking funny.
I gotta look at his face.
I
Yeah,
never
he
noticed
literally
that.
goes, he does one of these, he's like, oh. he thought he was up next. He really thought he was up next. That's why I asked.
Tommy was
Kimberly
in
would have to kick
every
Dulcia's ass.
Power Rangers movie
That's
that had a
OD.
theatrical release. Oh,
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true.
No,
Yo.
well, so did Kim. So
I'm
did
surprised you
Kim.
didn't say anything
Yeah.
about
Yes.
the Turbo
So,
movie.
go
I
ahead.
thought somebody was gonna say something about the Turbo movie.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it.
Because real talk, like
That's more Jason thing.
I feel
think.
like when I think of Turbo moments in
Into the
terms
fire.
of the Rangers themselves,
Yeah.
it's Kimberly and Jason who have the highlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
That's
they
true.
weren't even Rangers, but it's just like, ooh,
They were OD in that
I
movie.
know
Yeah.
the
See,
muscles
okay,
in the palm.
for
Like,
for argument's sake, just when you just like trying to pull something from that, honestly, the one scene that sticks out to me is when he does the fucking flip off the fucking
yes,
waterfall.
off the waterfall,
And he's like,
yeah.
"Yo!"
which was dope. That was dope.
Like that shit was the most OD thing. And then like
yeah.
Catherine's leg was broken. He had to fucking
Yeah.
like he wrapped that
Swing
shit up. Like
lightsaber.
I remember that vividly.
I
Like
still have no clue why the Zeo powers didn't protect her from that fall.
oh well, you know
That was just like, well, that was just writing.
that's
I mean,
exactly that's just more
Yeah.
problems that you
Yeah.
know they could
But
not
that's,
fucking do.
That's like thinking too hard into it.
yeah.
Remember the first episode of Turbo and how it started? Basically,
When they were at-
Tommy
yeah.
on the track. It's like,
Yeah,
yo,
that
this dude
was-
even got his license? Like,
that was
yo,
a
he out
weird.
here.
That was a weird side plot. They were like, "Oh, well, we're gonna turn Tommy into a driver or a racer."
That's
Never
the only time
acknowledged
that
it again.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only time it happened. They gave him motorcycles and a bunch of seasons only used on one episode too. That was
Yo.
very weird.
Footage.
That was very, very weird. But
yeah,
you
well,
know,
it's
yeah,
for
that's-
toys.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody mentioned the singing episode as one of the jokes.
that's what I thought Uchi was gonna say at first.
Me too.
I was waiting for
Got-
Uchi to
got
say
the-
something like that.
The
It's
Dulcia
morning
neglect.
time.
Damn, yo, we can talk about this shit all day.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly.
Every episode, yo. There was one episode too. He was already the White Ranger, but it looks, and this was when Jason, Zach, and Trini already left, and they haven't replaced them yet. So there was this one episode, and they had to reuse footage. So he was already the White Ranger. You know how when they're in civilian form, they wear their colors. He
Yeah.
was wearing green.
Well, he does that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had to reuse that footage, because there was a scene where he was wearing the same clothes, but had all of them together. All of them. So Jason, Zach,
That
and
makes
Trini were
sense.
there. They got it for just that scene.
Yeah.
Because I think Zach was like, "Oh, I think this is like one of the most powerful monsters yet," or something like that, and that's what Tommy was wearing. So exclusive for that. And then when he morphed, it was the White Ranger, even though he was wearing green.
See, that made sense. I didn't even really think about that, but it's kind of an interesting layer because if I had a whole bunch of green clothes and then I became the White Ranger and had some white clothes, it
I'm about to
doesn't
throw 'em
necessarily
away.
mean I want to
You know
throw
what's
out
crazy?
my green clothes. So
Thinking
I
about
would
it too?
switch.
speaking of the clothes, because you just brought up a good point, son. How is it? How is it? This guy was rolling around in mud. This guy was fighting on grass, still fresh. Not an ounce of dirt on man's drip, son.
The Morphin grid.
That's funny too, cause like there's also in the Dino Thunder episode where he got his powers.
Oh yeah.
He mentions that like he was like, oh, I gotta. He said, what did he say? He said,
He's like, I gotta go to the store, and they're like, why? He was like, well,
I checked my closet and not too many black clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
Lacking black. Yeah.
See, I like that era of Power Rangers because they got kind of meta with it.
Exactly, like it was cheesy, but yeah, they knew.
Like that, because Dino Thunder also had the episode where they literally watched. Like,
Sentai.
Yeah. See what I mean? Dino Thunder's great, but
I didn't even know what Sentai was back then. I was like, what the hell?
Neither.
Yeah. Look at us now. But
so I'm gonna go with I just looked something up real quick, right? And I typed in best Tommy moment Power Rangers on Google just out of curiosity to see what's the first thing you see on there. Mm-hmm. And they had it says basically top 10. So number 10 was making a brutal first impression, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it looks like that was Green with Evil. It looks like so when Tommy debuted, so they have that at number 10, which is nuts. That's too low. Yeah, too low.
I mean, a lot of these are not credible, so it's like whatever.
Number 9, this is by Watch Mojo.
Okay, well,
I watched that one.
Just throwing that out there, we know.
I seen that one too.
Video game one, okay, but number 9 going green for the 20th anniversary.
They got that higher than
that's.
I mean, how you put the Super Mega Force Tommy above his debut?
Yeah,
that's beyond me. Then making 2 epic saves in the final battle, and this right here was in the movie, so they added that one. Fighting evil without powers. That's when he was fighting Goldar.
Yep, we mentioned that one.
Rejecting his title as Machine Empire King. So it looks like when he was already brainwashed. When he was already brainwashed. And they got him to snap out of it.
King for a Day was
becoming the Black Dino Thunder Ranger number 5. So that was mentioned already by 2 people in here. Number 4, reuniting with the Red Rangers, Forever Red, which you just brought it up as number 4. Mm-hmm. Number 3, rejoining the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which you brought it up too.
There it is.
That we missed. Number 2, using his Master Morpher to fight a robotic copy. You and I brought that up, Uchi. And then number 1, being freed from Rita's control.
That one was that's a weird one because
a very weird one to put as number 1.
That's literally like the last episode of Green with Evil.
That's like such a filler reason.
They differentiated the intro to the ending, which I get it, but
yeah.
I feel like they didn't know like what else to say, and that they just put that in there because I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, that list is all over the place. The picks they have weren't bad. It's just wrong order. King for a Day I wouldn't put up there because I was thinking about it. I'm like, it makes Tommy look weak. I'm not gonna include this at all because again, he was brainwashed. I
mean, he was beating their ass, but yeah, it was like another time he got brainwashed. But it was a cool episode. It was very memorable.
I would never, I wouldn't put that as a top moment though. Like it was like it was fine, I guess, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you listen, you could tell when like a website is just doing it because they're trying to take advantage of like the unfortunate time of his passing and everything to just get clicks. But like I mean, we're the real ones here, obviously. So like.
This was written November 21st, 2022.
Literally, 2 days after his death. Come on,
that's
like.
Crazy.
Screen Rant had one too. I think we all saw this one though. But I'm just gonna go to number 1. What they said is number 1. Number 1 is when he was fighting for his life.
There he is. Well, Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
There it is. Boom. See?
Yeah. And number 2, Return of the White Ranger. Then Green with Evil. Number 3. So this is actually a lot better. This is actually better. Tommy and Jason's fight scene in Turbo movie. It's up there top 5. That's funny.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean that was a dope moment, but like. I would say that would be like a top Jason moment episode that we could. I'm gonna write that down right now. Actually, that's a great idea to do in the future.
Tommy kicks a dinosaur in the face. Yo, this I actually like this.
Okay. Oh yeah, we said that too.
That's a lot better. Yeah,
Tornado kicks a fucking T-Rex, bro. Like, maybe whoever's on the staff on Screen Rant knows little Power Rangers.
Some stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Looking back at it, if there's anything from the Turbo movie that I would say is a Tommy top moment was the end when he won the championship with Jason and Adam.
That was actually fire as hell.
And he had Justin,
Yeah. He's like, all right, yeah. That shit was fire.
There ain't no team in the world beating him.
Broken.
That shit is
Exactly.
broken,
Yeah,
and you could do that in
it's
Battle for the Grid, low key.
Yeah,
Facts.
It's broken. It's a broken team. Dog, real shit. Ain't nobody there beating them. Ain't nobody there beating them, yo. That right there is unfair. That's like when Goku and Vegeta were in the martial arts tournament. Like,
Okay,
come on, son.
Oh wait, pause. I have a great idea for another episode, right? Who would have a slight chance against that 3 team right there? Tommy, Jason, Adam. And you has to, we can pick whoever. That's a great episode. I'm writing that shit down right now.
They're not gonna win, but
that's why I said close.
They're gonna run for their money.
That's why I said close.
I'm pretty sure we all can agree on one. I'm not gonna say it right now, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree with one.
Yeah, save
without
it,
question. I'm saving it. I'm saving it.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
The thing that makes that conversation really difficult is the fact that, you know, we've talked about this before. They've scaled down the live action fights, so it's like you don't really get to see them throw hands the same way. And some ranges are really good, but they're not good at hands. You know.
Get Chris Matrix on. I bet you he'll be able to tell you.
All right, save it. Don't even indulge.
I think I know who you're talking about, but we'll get there.
It's not Jaden.
I already know who my number. I already know who my number 1 on the other team has to. They have to have this guy.
I know who you're gonna say.
I know as well.
All right, we gotta wrap this shit up before we start spoiling our own episodes. All right, guys, if you made it this far, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Power Rangers Academia, where we are obviously going over all the greatness that this IP has to offer, and more episodes to come as always. So make sure you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing. All the links to support all of us are going to be in the description as always. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. May the power protect you. Keep it locked, loaded right here on this channel. Stay safe, stay clean, and stay the hell inside. We'll see y'all next time.